We often get asked how we got started, what got us into the fishing lifestyle, and how we became so obsessed. Before YouTube, before guiding, before New Wave, there was only one thing: the trophy. This is where it all began. The next chapter in the hunt for the trophy starts now. For as long as I can remember, Labor Day weekend has been my New Year's. No, not because it's back to school season. I usually skip the first few days anyways, but because of the annual bragging rights tournament my dad has brought me on since I was 4 years old. A week of camping, a week of adventure, a week of exploring. Chasing after the biggest bass we can find in the hopes of catching the one that claims the trophy. It's this trip that made finding ways to catch more and bigger fish so important. When the idea that the next trophy is waiting in untouched waters became etched in my mind. And where the spark for doing what others aren't willing in order to find success was lit. This trip is where it all began, and it's time to chase after the trophy once again. The tourney has been a staple in my life since I was 4 years old, but it started long before this. Now in its 39th year, this is the first time none of the original members have attended. They used to joke about how we would end up staying in cottages and fishing in wheelchairs off of pontoon boats as they got older, instead of camping and fishing from canoes. Well, we're halfway there. Staying at off-grid fishing lodges, new boats with the latest gadgets, and not a canoe in sight. Some things have certainly changed. One thing that hasn't: the biggest bass of the trip wins the trophy and bragging rights until the next year's trip comes around again. We've got some big expectations for this week. There's giants around, and we just need to find them. All we know, it's a bad day to be a smallmouth on Georgian Bay.
So the story goes, they don't know what we've been through. They don't know the plight we do. We gon' get what's ours when it's said and done. We don't need your sympathy. We'll be back, it's prophecy. We've come too far, done scraped and clawed. Won't let this fall apart. Get back in the game. Ain't stopping this rain.
Snags happen. If you're not getting snagged occasionally, you're not getting your bait into the good stuff. Sometimes this line flick trick can be used to avoid having to drive over and spook fish or ruin the spot to get it unstuck. And that means more fish in the boat.
Scraped and clawed, won't let this fall apart. Get back in the game, ain't stopping this rain. We can do this all day. Come get it, let's go. We coming for gold. Get it on, let's play. Get back in the game. Come and get you some.
Oh, that looks fucking
When I lose, you won't forget this night. Get back in the game. Ain't stopping this rain. We can do this all day. Come get it, let's go. We coming for gold.
Our first spot has proven to hold some quality fish, but the wind is becoming hard to deal with, and we need our battery to last, so we're going to search for some more protected waters. Despite this being a bass tournament, we can't help ourselves from targeting pike and muskie, especially with the cooling water temperature.
Fuck, bud. I want to hold the net, and I just gotta get us off this fuck. Alright, hold on a sec.
But he's fat.
37 and a half.
These big old gators are one of the best parts of fall fishing. Hopefully we can snag a few more before getting back to chasing bass. Rain wasn't in the forecast, but luckily we didn't leave the rain suits back at camp. After an eventful first day, I'm on top of the leaderboard with the 4-pounder at the start of the day. A good start, but this isn't going to last. As we sit around catching up with others at the end of the day, we notice there are some visitors across the lake. I wonder how they did for fishing today. Morning dew. This is a sure sign that fall is underway. After a hot summer, the first few cold nights signal the fish that winter is on its way. The bass will be on the move and schools will be breaking up, which can make them hard to find. Historically, September on the bay is one of our worst times for smallmouth success. While we usually manage to catch a few good ones, they seem to be random and take effort more like musky fishing. Fortunately, after enough struggling, we discovered ways to be successful. But fishing is still much tougher than any other time of year. To learn our secrets to success for September smallmouth, be sure to click the link in the description and read our blog post.
Except for that.
Despite the cool morning, we're off to a hot start. As the air starts to heat up, so does the fishing.
Highest is going as 4.29.
Got some damage on him. Beaten battered.
Might as well weigh it.
Yeah.
Why not? They got big bellies, so like you never know. 380.
380.
Yeah.
Hey.
No, 380, not 38. It's in decimals on this one.
Oh.
Big old belly.
Yeah, bud.
It's no wonder why this bass was around here. The size of this bait cloud is absolutely insane.
When I find a new weed bed near deep water, I need to cast it. This fish was by far the coolest eat on a figure 8 I've ever had. Every turn it lunged at the bait and missed until the third turn when I let it hang just a little bit longer. Why I didn't measure this fish, I don't know. It could have been close to knocking off content team member Taylor out of the lead in the Georgian Bay Big Pike contest. I figured it was a 38-inch class fish, but comparing footage to the 37 from yesterday, this is much bigger. Oh well, there will be more this fall. Back to bass fishing. We've got time for a few casts at one last spot before dinner. The wind is picking up, and that might be all we can put up with anyways. While it looks like we crushed the fish today, it was a lot more work than what you see. We covered a ton of water, caught one fish here, one fish there, and we're fishing fast, all day long. Rarely were there multiple fish in an area, and the ones that were around were too shallow to spot using electronic. It is unlikely that the fish will still be around the same areas tomorrow, but at least we have a few starting points. Despite the 4-pounder caught by Cody, the leader has been upgraded to a 4-pound, 15-ouncer. Today is supposed to be windy. So windy, we won't be able to fish the main lake. After covering so much water yesterday, we've decided to take the opportunity to search for bait and other fish activity while trolling big baits for pike and muskie. The hope is that we will be able to figure out where the fish are headed to winter and pick up a few big uns along the way. We did. We must have trolled 30 miles with nothing to show. With only a short while left before dinner, we make our way towards one last area that has produced in previous trips around this time. Bigger than the other ones. And look, a friends are back.
I wonder if they struggled to find fish as bad as we did.
It all comes down to this. One last day to chase the trophy. We're pulling out all the stops and planning on hitting as many spots as possible in search of a giant while the wind is low. The best and worst thing about big fish tournaments is that it only takes one cast to win. Everybody is in it right till the very end. While this isn't a bass, it's a welcome surprise. 28.5 inches of Georgian Bay gold. We'll be back for more of you later this fall.
What a way to wave goodbye. Could that have been the new leader? I guess we'll never know.
After striking out in the new areas further offshore, we begin moving back towards where we had success on day 2.
Got the moves to bring the fire back. You didn't see it coming, did ya? Oh, I got a feeling this is comeback season. Yeah! It's comeback season. Yeah! Oh, I got a feeling this is comeback season. Yeah! Yeah! Comeback season. Yeah! Oh, I got a feeling this is comeback season.
Not bad, eh? Give her away. You still snag? $405. 403, 405.
Better than I thought.
Yeah.
Go extreme, no boundaries, push the limits. To the end, raise his edge, go and get it. Trailblazing to the unknown. Sweat dripping, I'm in the zone. Born forged out of fire, I'll take it up higher. Maximum adrenaline, I'm breathing. Maximum adrenaline, dynamo. Whoa, it's in my blood. Pump it up, watch me go. I got the passion, rise out of the rubble. I'm the king of the jungle, with the heart of a lion. I got the passion, power's pumping through my bloodstream. I'll bring the fire, the intensity. If you want a legend, I got the passion. I got the passion.
Despite finding a number of quality fish, we weren't able to find that one big bite we needed. With time running out and the sun going down, there's only a handful of casts left before we need to accept defeat for this year.
Leaving day. The end of a trip is always a sad time. While we need to head home, we're going to fish our way out and check out some new spots for the next time we have a trip in the area. With the chase for the trophy over, we're after one last big bite to end the trip on a high note.
It's a big fish, folks.
Now that's a way to end a trip.